Hello, thanks for joining me. Something a bit different today. I'm in my leather workshop and I'm going to make myself a new bag to fasten on the rear rack of my Bonneville T140, in which I can put my tool roll and other bits and pieces that I want to carry with me when I'm just out for the day. Now, this is not intended to be a leatherworking tutorial video, so I'll probably edit it down and just show some of the highlights of the process of how I go about making this bag. I don't have a specific pattern for the bag, but I'm going to make it something similar to this one. This is a bag which I made quite a few of these over the years, and these are they're sort of fastened on the side panel of Harley Davidson. Quite a few people have bought these off me, so this just fastens on the side just under the seat there, just to keep a few bits and bobs in. So I like the design of this. It's quite simple. There's just gussets at the side there and a couple of straps with buckles fastening it. This obviously then bolts onto the side panel of the bike, whereas the bag I'm going to make is going to have to strap on the rack. So I'll have to decide what straps I put and where on the back as I make it. But I'm not going to come up with a specific design or plan for the bag. I'm just going to wing it because I make plenty of this kind of thing. But the only criteria really is it has to be big enough to fit my tool roll in and a little bit of space for other things. So I'll take the dimension off this. So the tool roll is just about 9 inches wide. So if I make the bag about 10 inches wide, and this is about 5.5 inches deep, so again I make it a little bit bigger than that, so as I can fit the tool roll in and then other bits and pieces as well. So this is what I'm going to make the bag out of. This is vegetable tanned leather, which I will then obviously have to dye. I'll dye it black, and this is quite thick. I've got my thickness gauge here, just put that on it, just see. Yeah, that's 4mm thick is that leather, so it's going to make a good tough bag. So what I'm going to do is get my rulers and my cutting edge, lay out the sizes I want. So I'm going to have just one large piece of leather that will be the front, the bottom, the back and the front flap, just wrapped round then with the side gusset. So a very simple design. So I'm going to lay that out, cut that out and then dye the piece black. Okay, so making good progress with this. As you can see, I've cut out one piece here, which will form the main body of the bag. I've actually creased it, so you can see on the inside I've made creases where I want it to fold over, so it will fold over like that. This will be the front, the bottom, the back. The flap will form like that. Then you can see I've rounded off the edges, I've grooved it for the stitching, and I've used my pricking iron to make stitching holes all the way around. So the next step is to make some side gussets, and then I need to sort out straps to fasten on the front, and then decide how it's going to fasten on the back. Right, so I've made a pair of gussets to go on the side of the bag, so when it folds over they will fit in the sides like that. So there's a little top flap there they'll fold in, and I've just skived round skiving just the term leatherworking for thinning the edges, so that they just fold over better, because I'm going to fold those in, stitch them in like that, fold them in. Right, so that's the main body of the bag sorted. So now I need to organise my straps for the straps to fasten the front and how it's going to secure to the bike at the rear.
I've just been rummaging around in my scrap bin, and I found these two straps that are an offcut from a previous project I was making. So as this leather is already dyed, might as well use it on this project here. Just got my strap end cutter here. I've got some different shaped strap end cutters, but this is sort of a V-shaped one. I don't normally chop on this this table. This is my cutting table rather than my tooling table, so you can see it's, you know, I usually work with a stone slab. But anyway, it works. Just measure out where the holes will go for the buckle. You can see I've got these buckles on the table. I use these quite frequently in this kind of you know, bags for bikes and stuff like this. So they're nice, nice buckles, and little strap retainer as well, chromed. So I just went for my mallet and my punch. I've got a little hole punch here, just the right size to fit the buckles. Okay, that's one end of the strap. Let's make the other end. Got a bit more scrap leather here. So I'm going to make the end of the strap that the buckle fastens onto, the buckle retainers. Is quite short, but I'm going to double them over. So I need to, this is quite thick leather, so I'll need to thin it down. Need to skive it down. So just cut them to length, then I'll cut the hole for the buckles and then thin it out. This is a long thin punch for designed for, you know, making a hole where the buckle goes. Quite thick leather, that. And again, this is not the best cutting table. Just skive these down, because I'm going to be doubling them over. It's quite thick leather, it's going to be too thick is that otherwise, both in terms of riveting it and you know, folding it over neatly. So this is just a little skiving tool. Good name. It's got a razor blade in it that you can just scrape bits off the leather. So as I said, I don't normally do my chopping. Just get rid of those bits. Don't usually do my chopping on this table, but as I've got the camera set up here, I might as well just complete these operations on here, and then yeah, I'll move over to my other workstation for doing the other work. So I've got a big marble slab I work on there, which is much better, you'll see, for punching, cutting, and also for tooling. So just fitting the buckles on here. As you can see, I'm doubling the leather over. Just make sure I get the buckle in the right way. You don't want the buckle in back to front. And then I'm just going. These are going to be riveted, but I'm just going to glue them together to hold them in place. So the glue is not really structural; it's just holding it in place for assembly. Bit of contact glue. Put some of this on and close it up. It'll hold them nicely in shape, and then you know, until I actually assemble the bag, and then they'll get riveted onto the bag, and that will hold it all together when it's assembled, as you will see in a moment, hopefully. So it's contact adhesive is this, so it goes off quite quickly. Just got to make sure I get all the edges lined up so it's neat. Just seal that down. Get the strap retainers straight on these. These are roller buckles. They've got a little roller on them, which are great for, you know, bike bags. I use these almost all the time for bike bags, unless somebody requests something different. You'll see on the bikes on my Harley Davidson, if you've seen of those videos, I actually use brass buckles on that, but these are the ones I use mainly. Right, I need to measure up where the straps are going to go, so I've got this other bag off the Harley Davidson just to compare it to the way I line it up. The way I like to construct these is I cut a hole, then feed that top strap through the hole and rivet it from the inside. I just think that looks nice. So this bag I'm working from is obviously a second-hand one. It's an old one. It's actually one I used to have on my own Harley Davidson for quite a long time, but if you see some more recent videos, I've changed that to a brown one now. I know I'm working on a cutting mat here, but with these big punches, they can very quickly make a hole right through the mat. So I always just put something else in between just to preserve my cutting mat. Okay, I've just moved over to my other workstation because well, the light's better here, as you can see, but also I've got my marble slab I'm working on. So just measuring up where the rivets are going to go on the top flap here. Transfer those over to the other side because we're going to have two straps. Yeah, and now punch the holes here, and that's where the rivets will go. Right, so having got my rivet holes straight on the outside, obviously I want those to look symmetrical and neat. Just put the straps in, and I'm just going to work out where I want the straps, just get them the right length. Then I'll punch the holes in the straps and rivet them in place. Just look, that looks about right there. Want to get them about the right length and obviously get them symmetrical as well. Just make sure that they're fine on the inside there. Everything's sitting properly. Okay, it's good with a cutting mat like this with the grid on. It just helps you align things. I do most things by eye. You know, with a bit of experience you get things quite accurate. Right. So now I can punch those. So these are some rivets. These are nickel finish rivets. Which I think the nickel just looks nice with the black leather and obviously you know, match the chrome on the bike as well. And these are fast rivets, but they're extremely strong. Nice thing about working on this marble slab is it makes a great backing plate for riveting, because it's a very thick, solid slab. Is this, as you can see, compared to the other table, just very stable. Right, good. Now we just have to work out where the buckles go. Right, here's the buckles. Just tidy these up, trim them. I like to trim the corners off, just makes things look a lot neater, and of course they don't catch then. Right, I'm firstly just going to eyeball where these buckles need to go, and then I'll measure it more precisely to make sure everything's symmetrical and lined up, but I just want to get the general feel. So that looks about right to me. Just mark that lightly, and then I'll measure it accurately. Right, I got a rough idea where I want these buckles to go. Now I'm measuring it more accurately and making sure that they sit symmetrical. I've got some slightly longer rivets here, because the rivets I use for the straps on the top are shorter. They're only going through 2 bits of leather. These are going through 3 pieces of leather, because these bottom straps are doubled over, so I need the longer rivets. These are quite long ones. Right, let's see what that looks like. Starting to shape up now. Yes. So, that looks good to me. We can fit the gussets now. Just going to use this contact adhesive, it's Evo stick, to hold the gussets in place until I've stitched them. So this is not structural, really just to help with the assembly. So this is Evo stick contact adhesive. So I'll put this on, let it dry for maybe 15-20 minutes, and then stick the bag together, and that will then hold well enough whilst I do the stitching. Right, that's stick together. I'm just trying to get the edges as nicely aligned as possible. I'm going to sand them down after the stitch, but it just makes things neater and it makes the job easier if you can get these just all as nicely aligned as possible. Makes the end product look much better. Right, going to leave this just for a couple of hours to dry. I love the stitching, but it's very therapeutic. If I've got a lot of stitching work to do, tend to save it up, put some nice music on, just chill out. It's quite a slow process. This is called a saddle stitch that I'm using here, which is a double stitch, and it's very, very strong thread is this. So it's a very strong stitch with very strong thread, and once complete, that's not going to break or come undone. And I'm using red thread, as you can see. I just thought that would go nicely. The black and red on the bag will go nicely with the black and red on my Bonneville. And I'm going to run the stitch. Obviously I'm just stitching the gusset in here, but I'm going to run that stitching right round the top, round the flap, really just as decorative stitching round the top. I think that's going to look nice.
Well, thanks for watching. Here's the finished bag. I'm sure you'd like to see it on the bike, but it's absolutely tipping down with rain outside today, and my T140 is behind 3 other bikes at the back of the garage, so I just don't feel inclined to get all those bikes out in the wet just to take a picture of the bike on the bag. But hopefully you will see this bike, you will see this bag in action on the bike in future videos. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully see you again soon. Bye.